Dad was the youngest of two boys. To me, he was perfectly brilliant. I think the best conversations and things that I learned in my life, I learned from him. He had a chance to go to Wake Forest on an athletic scholarship, but he had to give it up. So he went over to Harlan County from North Carolina to work to help his parents. I was born in Harlan County, over in the coal mine area. Poverty was abject, and of course in Harlan County, U.S. Steel owned everything. I was too young to really realize the reality of the world around me, which was grim. But we were always told that we were somebody. My father, who was known for his honesty in about 6 states, to be his daughter, important to that, and we had an obligation, and honesty was a large part of that. The word is your bond, all these kinds of things. And my mother made sure we knew that. I went by the Performing Arts building today, and there were 4 young men waiting for Mr. Grice and me to leave the premises where the piano was. And I asked them what instruments they played, and they said, "Oh, we sing." And I asked them if they'd sing me a song. They might, of course, they didn't have any idea who I was or what I was asking that for. But they obliged me by sight reading Shenandoah in the clear, magnificent, beautiful 4-part harmony that fed my soul. Southerners, and mountain people in particular, are great storytellers. As far as I know, everybody sang. Certainly in my family. The First Methodist Church had to meet without the McIntoshes there. My sister played piano and sang alto at the same time, which was a great achievement. Dad was in the quartet. We sang at graduations, funerals, weddings, whatever. We were always singing. We just started in after dinner when we cleaned the kitchen, washing dishes. And Mom was being there with us, and we all harmonized. And I read everything I could get my hands on, including the Boy Scout magazine. And I remember Alice in Wonderland, which was one of my great favorites. That and a book about an English girl named Elsie Dinsmore. No, but it was important to know. I have no idea why, but I never forgot Elsie Dinsmore. When I was 3, I had a sister that died. I think that's one of the reasons that I went into health, bacteriology. I was always incensed at what had happened to her. I didn't want to think that little girls would die because they couldn't diagnose pneumonia. Now, I really did enjoy it here. It was a very strange role for me to be immersed in minute, unseeable bacteria and microbes. I had never, even before I got here, held a microscope in my hand. And I recall the professor recoiling as I picked it up and turned it upside down, trying to shake something out of it. And I think they decided then that I probably didn't have a great future in microbiology. But nonetheless, I did persevere with it. When I went to college, I sang with a band. More than anything in this world, I wanted to sing. I just absolutely, I think I might have been able to make it, I don't know. I auditioned with the Tinker Baggerly Orchestra, and they gave me the job. I think they paid me $8 a performance, a dance. They were good. I mean, it was really a good band. I got to sing with a band, a jazz band called Tinker Baggerly and his orchestra. And almost everybody in it but me was in the engineering school. It was the most fun I had ever had. I believed that I could make a turnip cry. I loved it so. I said, this is what I want to do with my life. And although being in Congress is wonderful and I love it, if I could switch with Nancy Wilson this minute, I'll tell you that I'd do it. What we know now, and didn't know then, but I've only learned this since I had the National Endowment for the Arts Caucus, is that music and science are very closely entwined, art and music. I mean, if you are a good musician, many times you are a good scientist. As a matter of fact, they've said that it's a proven fact that the only doctors who really understand what they hear in a stethoscope are doctors who study music. And we really ought to understand that both sides of those brains ought to be engaged with little people. I think it's a great tragedy when they don't get exposed to art when they're young. We work very hard to make sure that doesn't happen. But we have so much going for us. We have art in this city like nobody's got. And you know, over in Buffalo, where I represent now, there's 16 working theaters. It's such a remarkable achievement, I think. I'm fully engaged, and I'm not going to slack off on any of that. But I don't want to miss a minute of it. I'm very much engaged in what I'm doing, particularly now. When I was first elected in 1986, the National Endowment had about $180 million. We're down about 120 now. We've never achieved where we are. We get more money by just fighting for it on the floor. We got all these people involved, and they understood for the first time, I think, the economic benefits of art. And you know, when people think their tax money shouldn't go to it, let me tell you, for the little 128 million we get back in the National Treasury, we get about 5.9 billion. How do you get that? Because it's the number of people employed in the arts, the number of people who buy tickets to the arts, the revenue that it brings in, what they pay in taxes. I work in a work of art. The Capitol of the United States is one of the most beautiful buildings ever built. We know what public art does for people. Artists are the people who tell us who we are and who we used to be and let us hope for what we can become. And they have a very important job to do that. During the Depression, Franklin Roosevelt put all those artists to work building incredibly beautiful places like the Monroe Community Hospital, which is still there. And we know all of us appreciate all of that. But there's nothing, art doesn't have to apologize to anybody. It pays its way.